Welcome to High Cap Fridays, where information becomes action and action expands capacity. Knowing this stuff is great, but putting it into practice, that's what actually changes things. I'm Michelle Grosser, trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and every Friday here on High Capacity, I'm going to give you one nervous system tool and one high cap move to take into the week ahead. Something really short, really practical, and designed to be acted on. Let's jump in. Hey, it's Michelle here. Welcome to High Capacity. So glad you're here. Today, let me backtrack for a minute. Inside the Capacity Method, which is my group program, someone dropped a message maybe like 2 weeks ago inside of our little group Slack channel. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And she was talking about her husband, and maybe this feels true for you as it relates to your husband, or maybe there's someone else in your life that you're watching make choices that you know are not the best choices, right? So maybe someone that you love is like making choices that aren't the best for their health. Maybe they're not moving their body. Maybe they're ignoring symptoms. Maybe they, refuse to go to therapy. I don't know what it is, but I do know that we probably all have people or situations or things at work in our life where we feel overwhelmed by things that, the reality is we have very little control over, okay? And I can see what's happening in these situations. I can see what needs to change, but we can't make other people change. That's the reality, okay? So I just want to talk about it a little bit today because I think it's one of the most common and probably least discussed sources of chronic stress for women, right? For women and especially, you guys here. Not the stuff on your to-do list, right? Not all the things you can fix with more effort or better systems. I'm talking about the stuff that is genuinely, fundamentally outside of your control, and how much energy we spend trying to control it anyway. So today we're going to talk about stress capacity, specifically your nervous system's relationship with both uncertainty and things that you cannot change. Okay, so let's start with this. Let's talk about what's happening neurologically when we start fixating on things that are outside of our control. So our nervous system is a prediction machine, okay? Your nervous system is a prediction machine. It's constantly scanning your environment. It's trying to figure out what's going to come next so we can be prepared. It's trying to rehearse conversations before we actually have them, predict what's going to happen so we can do what we need to do, be one step ahead of everything. Because if we're able to predict what's going to happen next, our nervous system reads that as safety, okay? Knowing what's going to happen is safer than not knowing what's going to happen. So our nervous system treats uncertainty like it were a potential threat. And when something matters to us or someone matters to us, right? Someone we love or an outcome that we really care about, and we have no control or very little control over how it goes, our threat detection system goes bonkers, you guys. It fires. The amygdala flags it. That's that alarm center in our brain. Our cortisol rises. Our brain enters what researchers call the problem-solving mode. And we're looking for a lever to pull or an action to take, or something that we can do to help reduce the uncertainty. And it's so uncomfortable to sit in the not knowing when the stakes feel high. And it's why you'll find yourself having the same conversation with someone for the 15th time and going down Google rabbit trails or ChatGPT rabbit trails, trying to find solutions for them and mentally rehearsing what we're going to say the next time. And lying awake in the middle of the night and running through all these different scenarios because your brain is trying to solve what is probably an unsolvable problem. And your brain is going to keep trying and frankly burning a ton of energy in the process until you give your brain a different instruction. So the problem isn't that you care, right? Caring, empathy, compassion, That's not the problem. The problem is what the caring is being routed through. And what I mean by that is that there's a difference between genuine concern or maybe what is closer to an anxious attachment to an outcome. Okay. So genuine concern, I mean, we all have that for the people we love, right? I love this person and I want good things for them. But when we veer toward anxious attachment, that feels a lot more like I cannot be okay until they start making the choices that I want or need them to make. One is love. The other one can feel like love. It feels like caring, but it's really your nervous system outsourcing so much of its own safety and peace and regulation to someone else's behavior. And it can be really costly because when your peace depends on someone else's choices, we're only feeling as peaceful as things are going. We're permanently one decision away from feeling calm, and we're always at the mercy of what that person does or what they don't do. Our window of tolerance, our capacity, our entire emotional baseline is kind of being held hostage by something that is not entirely within our control. That is an enormous amount of capacity being spent on something that isn't actually yours to hold or to manage or to worry about any of that. Okay, easier said than done. I get it. So what can we try instead? I think the first move is really starting to get honest with yourself, like brutally honest with yourself about what is and what isn't yours. Okay, I heard someone say a long time ago, actually, I think this is Byron Katie, in her book, Loving What Is. And she said, there's 3 kinds of business. There's my business, there's other people's business, and there's God's business. And anytime I am meddling in other people's business or God's business, it leads to me being miserable. And y'all, it sounds overstated, but I don't think it is. I think it's really true. Okay? When we're meddling in the things we can control, that we have agency over, that are actually our responsibility, that's one thing. But the minute we start trying to meddle in something that's someone else's business or God's business, right? It makes us miserable. So can we start to get honest about distinguishing what's ours and what isn't? And it sounds simple, but I think it really does require us to be pretty vulnerable and humble and honest, because there's so many things that we want to be able to control that we actually can't. Okay. So, I mean, can you share how you feel? Can you share your desires? Can you share your concerns? Absolutely. You can express those things clearly. You can express them specifically. You can make your own choices about your own life, and you can model what it is that you're wanting to see someone else follow suit in. You can create the conditions for someone to want to change. That's something that you have control over. So you can be a safe person to be around. You can stay regulated. You can be non-pressuring and just that kind of like constant presence instead of an anxious one. But you cannot make someone do something they don't want to do, or make them want something that you want for them, or make them, desire something or be interested in something that they're really not interested in, maybe yet or maybe ever. Make someone see what you see. Make someone change who's not ready to change. Controlling an outcome that belongs to another person's agency, all of that is going to render you really, really miserable. And the second move is bringing your nervous system back to what's actually in front of you. Okay. So the first move is distinguishing, hey, what's mine and what actually isn't, right? Is this my business? Is this someone else's business? Or is this God's business? Sometimes it's someone else's business and God's business, and it ain't my business. So get honest there. And then the second move is bringing your nervous system back to what's actually in front of you, right? What's happening in the present? What's happening in your own life? What are the things that are genuinely yours to care about and worry about and fix and plan and all of that stuff? It's not bypassing. I don't think this is pretending you don't care. I think it's a deliberate redirection of your attention, okay? From where it has no purchase, frankly, to where it can actually do something. And the phrase that I keep coming back to, when I kind of find myself in situations like this, is that I can hold someone in love without holding them responsible for making me, feel okay or good or bringing me peace. I can want something deeply for someone. I can grieve that they're not choosing it. I can hope, I can pray, I can stay in the situation or the relationship with warmth and with presence. And at the same time, not easily, but at the same time, simultaneously, I can do all of those things and I can release the outcome. Because holding on to that outcome, that end result, right? Them finally doing it, them finally saying it, them finally agreeing, that isn't actually about helping them. And it's actually costing me. So when you spend your capacity trying to control what isn't controllable, you actually have less capacity for what is, for what's actually yours. You have less patience for your kids, less patience for your partner or with your partner. You have less energy for your own health and your own work and your own responsibilities and your own joy. And the irony is that your anxiety about them, that person, that situation, whatever, is pulling you away from the parts of your life where you could actually be making a difference. Okay. So here's a reframe I'm going to put before you. Take it if it feels helpful, leave it if not. But what if your role isn't to change someone else? What if that isn't your role? What if that isn't your job or your responsibility? But what instead if your job was to remain regulated enough to love them well in that messy middle, in the meantime, right? It's not giving up. It's actually growing your capacity for something that really requires it. So I want to give you something practical to do with this, because I think most of us do what we know we can't. Like, I think when most of us, let me try that again. When most of us know we can't control something, what do? We try anyway. Or we tell ourselves to just let it go, but we can't, right? The thought keeps coming back. We're like telling our brain to stop worrying about it, and it's flagged as a threat, and that doesn't work. And it's not because you're weak or you don't have enough discipline or willpower or anything. It's because that's not how the nervous system operates. You can't think your way out of a nervous system state. You have to move through it. Okay. So if this episode, if this content is resonant for you today, I want to give you a really short practice for when you notice yourself starting to like veer into that lane of controlling something that isn't yours. Okay. And it has 3 steps, and it's going to take you, under 5 minutes. You ready? All right. Step 1. Can you name it without judgment? Okay. Say it out loud, write it down. I don't care how you do it, but get it out of your head and get it out exactly what it is that you're trying to control. Get it out specifically, not like, oh, I'm worried about, his health. Get specific. I am trying to make my husband want to change his diet and he doesn't want to, and I cannot make him to. Okay. Or whatever the situation looks like for you. Maybe it's a boss. Maybe it's something with your children. Maybe it's something at their school. Maybe it's something with your own parents or extended family. Okay. Get super specific about what's going on, what you're trying to change. I am trying to blank, get blank to change blank, however you want to do it. And I cannot make them do it. The specificity matters here. Naming the thing clearly is probably one of the first acts of being able to release it. I think vague anxiety is so hard to settle than if we just like sit down and clearly name what's going on. So step 1, name it without judgment. Step 2, can you get curious about where you're holding that in your body? Okay. Before you try to let it go mentally and not be constantly thinking about it, can you find it physically? Where is it living? Does it make your chest tight? Does it make you clench your jaw? Right? Does it make you have this like raging anger that you feel in your belly? Does it make your shoulders just kind of tense up? If you can notice that, even now, maybe if you're thinking about it and you feel something going on in your body, can you put a hand there? And just see if you can breathe into it. And what I mean by that is you're not trying to fix the sensation. I just want you to try to acknowledge it. So imagine as you inhale, if you're sending your breath directly to that spot in your body that you just noticed. Because your body's been holding this, okay? Your body deserves to be seen before it's released. And see if you can stay there for 30 seconds, a minute. And sometimes something will shift on its own once you just give it a little bit of attention rather than resistance or pushing through or suppressing or another option. So that's the second part. Name it without judgment. And then finally, the third step is a physical release gesture. Okay, this is a somatic piece. So after you've named it, notice where it is in your body. Do one physical gesture to release it. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about something like maybe it is a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Like imagine you're fogging up a mirror and let it be audible, right? And you're just kind of letting it go. Or maybe you sit and you open both your hands. Okay, put them in a fist and then open them slowly. Palms up, right? Fingers spread out like a physical signal. I'm releasing my grip. I'm letting this go. Or if you have privacy, you can even just shake it out, right? Shake out your hands. Put your arms loose at your side. Maybe just kind of shake for 30 seconds. All of these somatic release gestures help to complete the activation cycle that your nervous system's been running. None of them are magic, right? But they are going to signal to the body what your mind alone cannot, which is I'm putting this down, right? It's not mine to control. It's not mine to carry right now. This is not my responsibility. I give it back. And your high cat move this week is that the next time you catch yourself spinning out on something outside of your control, can you come back to these 3 steps? You can even save this episode. Name it without judgment. Notice where you're holding it in your body, and then a physical release gesture. Can you do that? Maybe try it this week where you notice somewhere where you're trying to control something that's not actually yours. And then notice after that whether anything, even just slightly, starts to loosen and release, okay? All right, so good. Thanks for being here today for this one. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening today. If you haven't taken the What's Your Capacity Pattern quiz yet, it tells you which of the 5 capacity patterns is driving your exhaustion, your reactions, and your stress. So you know exactly where to focus your energy first. It's free. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. The link is in the show notes. And then come back on Tuesday for a full episode where we go deeper on the nervous system science and the tools behind everything we've been building. I'll see you on Tuesday.